Benvenuti a Italiano per Hispanofoni o Italian for Spanish Speakers or Italiano para Hispanohablantes. Miracosta College is Italian 103, and I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to explain why we do this kind of class. We do it because because of the similarities of the two languages. We believe that we have to work in a different way, and because Italian and Spanish are so similar, share the common Latin route. There are many implications there. It's definitely from some perspective it's easier because from the listening and reading comprehension aspect, it's definitely there's a big advantage because of the many cognates, but also there are difficulties in because there's a tendency from Spanish speakers to overlook because it looks easier. There's less attention on structures and forms sometimes. So while comprehension it comes much faster, then the production is actually delayed in accuracy. Okay, so there's a risk of fossilization of errors. So what we can do, and following a lot of research in the area, and I'm gonna move myself a little bit out so you can see, there's as far as pedagogy, there are different approaches. There's the intercomprehension, which is very, very strong recently in especially in Southern California with Cal State Long Beach, with that has that developed first in Europe with the two projects Galanet and Eurom 5, that is are very, very important projects in Europe. Then and it talks about the study of more than one language at the same time, so not just Italian and Spanish like we use it for this purpose, but usually it also incorporates the study of French, Catalan, or other Romanian, other Romance-based languages. Then a very important aspect that we will work with is the focus on form, developed by Long in 1991, which is pretty much highlight the importance of noticing the form and working on one form individually instead of focus on forms. That is usually the natural approach, or a generic approaching more than one form at the same time. So we try to put more focus on the single form because of the difficulties of noticing the form by Spanish speaker when they study Italian. Contrastive analysis, which is something that was definitely was very popular in the past and dismissed a little bit in the last 30 or 40 years, but it's going to be very important to notice these differences or similarities between the two languages. Translation is also another way that Calvo and Reid, for example, worked with similar languages, and that's also an important tool that we can use. Consciousness raising, which is also a part of focus on form pretty much, and noticing it's the same let's say group of ideas. Linguistic mediation strategies also will touch maybe briefly on that, and dictation, which is also a tool that was used years ago, and but it's also something that can be good for learning Italian, sorry, from a Spanish perspective. So what is the big picture is the Romance languages, of course. So the similarities between Italian and Spanish come from the Romance languages and common Latin route. So in this map, you can see all the Romance languages and how they are placed geographically in Europe, in the south of Europe, and you see that Italian is far from Spanish from a geographical perspective, but it's connected with the south of France, with the Occitan and Catalan, and you can see that there are, I mean, you won't see it from the map, but there are definitely similarities between the dialects in the west of Italy, northwest of Italy, and Occitan, and there's some French in the border area, and also Catalan is definitely has some French influences mixed with Spanish. So as you see, the border regions always have the common words and common structures. So the same thing happened also between Portuguese Galician, which is similar to Portuguese, and it's also similar, strongly based on Spanish. So it's definitely another situation which is very interesting. If we go down to the dialectal dialect level of languages, also this happens the same. For example, for me, I'm from Trieste, so we speak a dialect that is from this area, and I'm able to understand the Venetian dialect, the Veneto dialect, which is in this area, because it's very similar. But already if we go to like Emilia Romagna and Bologna, for example, this area here, it gets more difficult for me to understand. I actually have a hard time to understand, but I'm able to understand what's next to me. So that's pretty much how the languages are developing on a continuum, and not there's definitely not divided by borders, right? This is a more detailed view with all the with many dialects of also, and so you can see the border areas that are highlighted in different ways, and they are, for example, the Catalan that has some French in it, and also some Spanish. So that's pretty much it for the first introduction. We'll come back with other maybe little videos on how language works in the future, but for now I think it was important to just highlight the fact that your background is very, very important, and we'll definitely use it to make this journey easier and also more productive, taking into account what research found about Spanish speakers who learn Italian. Okay, so that's it for now, but so please keep going studying, and we'll see you soon. Okay, ciao ciao.